Dennis Abline, ninth grade social studies teacher, world history teacher. Have been nominated as a finalist for the North Carolina Charter School Teacher of the Year. I really love being a teacher because it combines two of my great passions. I love working with high school students, and I enjoy studying history. So if you combine those two, I love seeing students get that aha moment together. And if you combine the study of history and my love for kids, it's just natural that I become a teacher. Without doubt, my favorite assignment I give students is an optional assignment they can do in lieu of their final exam, which is their rap battle of history, where students are in groups of 3 and they have to write their own rap involving 2 historical figures, and someone films it and edits it. They have to dress in costume, they have to use appropriate backgrounds, and they have to list the accomplishments of the said figure. I got this idea off of YouTube, so I want to make sure I don't plagiarize it, but the fact is it's been really, really good, and I think the kids have a lot of fun with it. Each year I select a few that I do, and I send that to other teachers, and we are just impressed with how, the quality of students we have, and just how much students these days are into tech, and they know stuff that, again, they know a lot more than their teachers do as well. I think the reason I became a history teacher is in great part because of my father. Growing up, my father was a veteran. He would tell me stories about what it was like when he served in the Pacific. Growing up, we watched a lot of documentaries, and it was just fascinating me about how people lived in the past and how that relates to the world we live in today. We kind of build on each other's previous accomplishments. All right, so an AP grader is where each summer I go and grade essays for about 8 hours a day. They house us, they feed us well, and they pay us. And then we grade like about 80 to 90 long essays a day for about 6 to 7 days. So over the course of a week, it's somewhere about 500 to 700 essays that I've graded. And it is rigorous. I think once you got the rubric down and you know how to grade, and you also know how what to expect for the essays, it's not so much rigorous as it is just, it tends to go monotonous. And since you're grading so many so fast, it seems like essays start to blend together. By the 3rd day, I feel like I want to pull out my hair, but I don't have to really worry about that. So, but again, it's great professional development. I see other writing samples from around the country, really around the world. Without playing favorites, last year's AP class was the highest, in terms of the grades, was the best grades I have ever received on an AP exam. Not only did 100% of the students pass the exam, which gives them college credit anywhere here in the state of North Carolina, they passed with a very high mark of 4.25, which is over 2 points out of a 5-point scale over the state average. So I'm really, really impressed with the quality of students. They put in a lot of hard work. They did all the work, and I kind of we kind of reap the benefits together. So I'm really just proud of the students. I think teaching outside the U.S. has really enhanced my teaching ability in a couple of ways. One was, I think that by teaching outside the U.S., you're exposed to different educational systems. So in Hong Kong, although it was in a Chinese environment, our education system was very much predicated on the British. When I taught in Egypt, and again, although it's in Africa, they had a very unique educational system. The schools I've taught at all expect high standards, and that's something that I want to bring with me everywhere I go, that I expect high standards, and I hope to help students reach those standards that I set. But it's been an invaluable part of my life, especially my professional life, and not only my professional life, but my family life. being able to teach in many different places and be able to visit many different places and see how their educational system works. Not to mention, I regale students on stories that I've had in these different places, whether that's stories that happened to me when I was during my travels or during my teaching career overseas, even though they might get bored of those stories. Having lived on 3 different continents and traveled over 30 countries, I'm a huge proponent that travel can actually change a student's life. I have seen this firsthand. When students are exposed to the larger world in different languages and cultures, students become engaged. It's hands-on learning. On top of that, I've had time and time again, students who travel once wants to continue traveling. They want to go back to a certain place or visit another place. And so traveling becomes not just a one-time thing, it becomes a habitual hobby that they like to do, and they actually can see themselves doing it in the future. And I've had students and parents say, oh, we got the travel bug. We have now, they want to travel every time we travel, which is great. And again, if you have the money, we'd love to have you go on every trip. But traveling definitely changes one's outlook of life, and it is a life-changing experience. And I've had students from years ago still talk about the first time that they've traveled.